take to a physical individual or a company that wants to interest in that. I don't think it makes a lot of money, a lot of sense to do a study unless you really have somebody that's formally interested in making the investment to do it. Otherwise, you just have a study hanging on the wall.
We have a window of opportunity with the Petaluma plant closing.
Yeah.
That looks like a year or two.
Well, the main reason that Petaluma plant's closed is because the guy's been burnt out 3 times his life.
And he's found that there's developmental opportunities in the land versus putting up with that.
Yeah, but Dave's an old man too. It's time for him to retire.
There you go.
I know him real well.
Don, how close are we to having that finished?
I've asked for a 6-month extension, so basically September is the extension toward. So I hope that we have a product this summer, but we have some exciting preliminary designs, if you will, or a preliminary artist drawing, but conceptually they're still working. The people out of New Zealand that are designing the plant are just really extraordinary to work with. So it's very promising.
Any other comments? Okay.
Jesse, you're on.
Hello.
Okay.
Afternoon. Thank you for having me today. So I made some copies of this, but I apologize because I didn't have time to make color copies, so I made sure I brought this. So this is basically it's a planning wheel. And this, anyway, basically this is a culturally based planning model, but the idea here is that we have a vision, we have an economic vision. That's what it says in the middle. I'm sorry, it's hard to see, but which is represented by the red circle. And in our way and belief, our vision comes from a higher power or source, and that's what the yellow circle represents. And so the vision goes out to these areas that we've identified of our vision, which has become our work plan. And we have the green area represents our partners and support for the vision. And so we see Mendocino County and the agencies as being one of our partners here in the county. So really quickly, just to go through the areas, we have workforce development, entrepreneurship, infrastructure, capital, technical assistance, and tribal capacity. We've identified those as the main areas that we want to focus on here for the tribes. And one of the areas that we've been really focusing on this past 8 or 12 months, I've been working with workforce development with Deborah Donaldson, and been working recently with Dawn Balak and the EDFC. I worked with Madeline when she was here, and then Pamela Cash. And so working together with them and also on the Business Services Network. But we've really identified that workforce development is really paramount to what we want to do, the tribes want to do, because as I say to tribes, we can build businesses all day long, but if we don't have a trained workforce, it's not going to do us any good as a tribal community. And so we really realize that. And the other aspect being entrepreneurship. Unfortunately, the way that things have gone historically for tribes, we've set up, basically it's a duplication of inner cities, because we have the government has, in their wisdom, or whatever you want to call it, back in the day, they set up these these things that we call tribal governments, and basically what it did was disempower our individual people. It destroyed our economy the way that we used to know it, which was based on the circle. And so what we're trying to do is restore that circle, in essence, and to empower our people. So that's where entrepreneurship comes in, because it's really all about individual empowerment. That's really what's at the core of entrepreneurship. And I really believe that's why it's a key not only for tribal economic development, but for community development overall. I really see that as the bedrock of our local communities. And it's something that I know that we definitely agree on as a philosophy. And so we've been really working with Mendocino College more recently on developing some work experience programs and trying to get that information out to the tribes, letting them know that there's opportunities to build capacity and to train their workforce. So one of the areas that we've looked at for workforce development, or we've identified, and these are just, I just put this together this afternoon, so, but basically we've identified administrative and management and fiscal, so for management of businesses and programs or organizations. And then we've also identified the sectors of construction and health, the health field, light manufacturing and technology are some areas that we want to focus on. So as we work towards building our workforce, we're also simultaneously working with a college and with West Company on developing some entrepreneurship training. And so I think basically right now we're only operating under one grant. So I'm basically doing this work right now in conjunction or collaboration with the tribes, so I'm in contact with the tribes. But some of the other areas that we really see for the future as it pertains to this board. Yeah.
You mentioned how many tribes?
10 tribes in Mendocino County, and thanks, Don, for bringing that up, because that was one of the things we were talking about today, is the creation of an enterprise zone that I haven't had the time yet to work on it, but it seems to me that it should be more than viable, that we could, based on the fact that we do have 10 tribes, we should be able to create an enterprise zone within Mendocino County that would benefit the county and the tribes both. Some numbers I want to throw out to you real quick on the tribes. And this is based on the 2000 census. But the median income for non-tribal or non-native people was $31,000 per year. And for tribal folks, that was only $12,000. And the unemployment rate was 49%. I don't remember what the county rate was, but I'm sure I know it was much lower. And if you break the figures down on the to per capita on the earning, it's $4,000 for non-tribal members per capita, and it's $12,000 for non-Indians. And so there's a big divide here. And so we really want to work towards, again, collaborating with the county, trying to identify these opportunities to collaborate. Because another one of the things that was brought up that Mr. Benches was talking about was, and another gentleman was the infrastructure issue, because that is a huge issue for the tribes also. And so I really know that and believe that we have an opportunity, again, to collaborate. When it comes to the growth conversation, when we talk about the numbers that I just threw out there, tribes want to grow. and another thing to think about is we are going to grow, because the next point on the circle is capital. And just to let you know that the tribes are making headway individually and as a group in this effort. And so one of the things to think about is that as we do go forward and make progress, there is capital. There is a lot of capital out there. There are tribal groups waiting across the country. There's Native American banks and other investment groups, both private and run by companies,